What the going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're gonna fire Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime, Jersey, Jerry. Jerry Don, it is Wednesday. We wanted to record Monday after the game, 6-2, big win over the Giants. Jerry's in town, but the boys got into one after the game, ended up at the casino until about 4 a.m. playing some hands of blackjack, which ended up very nicely for us. Jerry Don was on a heater early. I had to claw out of a pit like a dog. But we're going to give you guys an episode here where we recap it and then go into the bye week. So, Jerry, we sit at 6-2, and at the beginning of the season when we did our schedule predictions, 6-2 is exactly where we wanted to be. So to sit at 6-2, and with the way Russell Wilson is throwing the football, which is something we have not seen since back to the pre-Big Ben decline days, in my opinion, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are primed for a second half of this season where they can really make some noise.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think that's fair. I feel the same exact way. Russ, he's throwing the ball really, really well. And I know he, got sacked a bunch last game. I think he got sacked like 4 or 5 times. Probably 1 or 2 of those, I would say, his fault. But other than the sacks and that one fumble he had late in the game, he played excellent. He really did. Yep. No interceptions, 20 of 28 for, I think, 280 yards almost. Yep. A touchdown. Should have had 2 or 3 passing touchdowns, but that's here nor there. I don't want to harp on that. But some of these throws that you're seeing him make, and especially the one to Pickens on that sideline, yep, and another one to Calvin Austin for the touchdown. These throws are just money. He's playing well. I think he's going to continue to play well. I think he's going to get even more confident later in the year. Listen, you tweeted it. We've talked about it before. A bunch of people are starting to tweet it now. The biggest difference between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields is Russell Wilson is just a veteran quarterback. Yep. That's just what he is. He knows how to read a defense. He knows when to check, when to audible, when to hot route. He knows what the defense is doing. Justin, I don't know if he has that in his arsenal yet. Matter of fact, I don't think he does, but it's something that he can get over time. And I think Russ is perfect for him to sit and learn, watch Russ for this year. I think they're going to make a deep run this year. I really do. Next year, and then let Fields, come in after that, gain some experience. Fields is very young, but I'm super happy where the team's at today. 6-2, top of the division. We have a gauntlet coming up, but guess what? The way I watch this team every week, the more and the way I see these games unfold, the more I realize they can beat any team in the NFL. When healthy, they can beat any team in the NFL. Doesn't matter if you're the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Doesn't matter. I'm happy. I'm excited. This game against the Giants, we really beat them up. We did. We really did, and we should have scored over 30 that game. I'm a little upset we didn't, but a win's a win. I ain't going to complain about it. I just know this team deep down is real.
Oh, yeah. Jerry, let's hit Russ for a while because there's a lot of things we can talk about Russ especially. And obviously that to me is the number one thing right now that's going right for the Steelers is that, look, it was all the question marks going into this season. If Fields can be good, they can make a deep run. If Russ can be good, they can make a deep run. You saw what Fields brought. And I think the more we look back on this, wanting Fields originally, me wanting Fields to stay in, don't play Russ. I would prefer the young guy, get the reps. And, if he's the future, let's see him ride it out. But you said it, we have talked about it. It is his command. Russell Wilson's command at the line of scrimmage. In particular, there is one play where it's a naked boot, okay? Fake handoff from under center, naked boot, rolls out to the left side, and the Giants edge rusher is right there, okay? Russ knows there is a chance that edge rusher might be unblocked and not bite on the pump fake. And so what does Russ do? Immediately turns, plants his foot in the ground, throws a little sidearm ball into the flat right there to Freiermuth. A running throw. I mean, on the run, the guy has the ability to take the ball. Freiermuth gains another 20 yards out of this pass. His recognition of when he's at the line of scrimmage with checks, with hot routes, where he has to go with the ball based on what the defense is giving him. You see him make so many more checks than we've seen. For me, it goes back to Ben. Russ is the first quarterback we've had since Ben that has a complete command of the game from the line of scrimmage, and you're getting more out of guys like Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin. You're seeing more production out of Darnell Washington. He's helping the run game. The run game the last 3 weeks has been pretty unstoppable in my opinion as far as what we're getting out of Najee and Jalen in combo. So Russ, to me, Jerry, it's the throws that he's making as well on top of the command. He knows when to throw a laser. You said the great ball to George Pickens. For me, it's the ball to Calvin Austin. He just puts the air under it, lets a guy that has all the speed in his legs like Calvin Austin just run under that football. The week prior, what did everybody say, Jerry? He's just throwing jump balls up. The receivers bailed him out. They made the plays. I agree with that.
Yeah, bullshit.
I agree in that game, maybe Russ is just throwing the ball in the air and they're just making plays. However, in that Giants game, Russ is not just throwing the ball in the air and they're making plays. He's more accurate on that deep ball. He's putting balls that are right on the fucking money on the deep ball. The receivers don't have to make crazy plays. He's dropping it in a breadbasket. What Russell Wilson is doing, Jerry, and we talked about it, you and me in particular, he hadn't played football in almost 300 plus days, okay? So his first game is that Jets game. Maybe he doesn't have great touch on the deep ball just yet. He's getting it out there. He's letting the receivers make plays. Russ is going to knock the rust off of this fucking thing over the next few weeks, Jerry, and I think that the potential for the Steelers offense is going to be uncapped. They had 3 drives inside the 15-yard line that they couldn't score touchdowns on, 3 straight opening drives to start that football game right in our end zone. So Jerry and I are front row in that end zone. We can see it perfectly. Broderick Jones kills the one drive, unfortunately. We'll talk about that guy because that's a problem for us. You had the Van Jefferson where Russell...
He didn't stop. He just didn't stop.
Just didn't stop on the route. And that's literally right in front of Jerry and I. I mean, you see the Sussy for Russy in the crowd. I don't know if the people saw it, but Jerry had the Sussy for Russy sign. That's literally 10 feet in front of us. Van just doesn't stop. Russ thinks he's going to stop. These are all little things that I think as they play together, more chemistry forms, they practice together, more in-game reps come. You're going to start to see Russ polish those things off. I have no concerns about his arm. I have very little concerns about his legs, which was one of my biggest, does Russ still have the legs? He does have the fumble, but overall, Jerry, Russell Wilson on the season has 36 of 57, 542 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, the 1 fumble, but a huge stat is a 111.9 passer rating, which would put him at 3rd in the league, Jerry.
Yeah, no, listen, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, he's 2 games back and he looks like this. Let's get him another 6 weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And what does he look like then, I know he'll probably be going up against stiffer competition, which he will be, so we got to pause there and take a little breather off him for a second. But he's going to look really good. He really is. This is 2 games in. He was out for such a long period of time. I think the more chemistry he develops with his receivers, the better this team is going to be and the farther this team is going to go. I don't know where they stand at getting another wide receiver. I'm pretty torn. I think it is either going to be a major splash or nothing.
So major splash would be who for you? Right now, looking at who's left. And let's recap. So Deontay Johnson just gets traded to the Ravens yesterday. Now, we know that we couldn't get Deontay back just because NFL rules say you can't be traded from a team and then back to the same team in a calendar year. So Deontay Johnson was never going to be on course for us to land. However, getting him to the Ravens does piss you off. So if there is a guy left out there, who do you think it is that actually is a splash player that moves the needle?
Like a major splash, I think it could be like a Metcalf or a Jalen Waddle situation.
You think Waddle or Metcalf are available?
Maybe Tyreek Hill.
You think the Dolphins are going to be sellers?
I don't know. It just depends if they lose again. It'll say a lot. I don't think so. For Tyreek Hill, maybe Waddle. Metcalf would be. That's my 1-1. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think there's a chance though. I think there's a chance if Seattle loses. I think there could be a chance. But I think Cooper Kupp is out of it. I do. I wish he wasn't, but yeah, that's why I'm torn. I think like they're either going to do a major splash or nothing really at all. So listen, Darius Slayton played great. I think he would be beneficial.
That's on my list. Darius Slayton would be the guy. Like I think he's realistic as far as what his draft capital might cost us, and I also think his contract is manageable as far as what we're trying to do. I think the element he brings, both in the ability to pass block, he's a big boy. That's the one thing. When Jerry was sitting there, we're like, holy shit, he's a lot bigger than we initially thought he actually might be. And then he torched us. He went for over 100 yards against us. Darius Slayton brings a skill set that I would love to add to that wide receiver room, but we got to give a little credit. Van Jefferson played pretty fucking good on Monday night, Jerry.
Yeah,
Calvin Austin is starting to come on more. The more reps you get Calvin Austin, the more chances you're giving him out there. He's one of those guys that, and I tweeted it yesterday, he's just interesting to me because when they do give him chances, he's making plays. And when you watch the game back, and a lot of people that I trust, Alex Kozora, who we have on the show, he says he's open a ton. He's like, you watch the All-22, you will see Calvin Austin is open a lot. So now it's just going to be more of us seeing that on film, seeing that in game, and then finding him that he's going to be open a lot. I still want one more big body outside. I would prefer if we didn't have to have Van Jefferson. Still no slight. I just want somebody with more upside. So I would prefer Darius Slayton outside, George outside, Darius Slayton outside. Then Calvin Austin can really eat in the middle. But again, that comes back to me for Russ. I think that he is just using everything he has. He's operating in Arthur Smith's system perfectly. Throws outside the numbers, which is what Russ is great at. The deep balls, which is what Russ still has. They're not asking him to do too much. I think when you watch the way Russell Wilson commands Arthur Smith's offense, he is doing it exactly the way Arthur Smith needs that offense to run. And you can see it. They're moving the ball up and down the field pretty much with ease.
I got a question. What are the chances the Steelers trade Justin Fields?
I don't think very high at all. I don't know. And here's the thing. I don't know.
I just seen his Instagram post yesterday. Well, it might be nothing, but he had the picture of himself and he's like patiently waiting as the caption. And, I don't know. I mean, deep down, we really don't know how these guys feel. Right,
for sure.
At the end of the day, like we didn't see Kenny requesting a trade coming at all. We never seen it. And that happened, and we're like, what the fuck? Right. The thing with Fields is like, what if he's salty? And I know he's, smiling on the bench with Russ and whatnot, but deep down, you really don't know how these guys feel. What if deep down he's like, dude, fuck this. I was 4-2. I should be starting. Get me the fuck out of here.
I don't think he specifically is the type of player that's in position to do that right now. Because while they did start 4-2, there were some things to be desired. And you saw what Jerry's talking about. I don't know if you guys saw it on the broadcast or not, but there's a moment where Russ and Fields are sitting side by side and they're laughing on the bench. But if you really look at what they're doing, Russ is trying to explain to him something he's seeing on the field on the iPads. So he's showing him a specific player. What Russ is seeing, he is reiterating that to Justin Fields. And so that's another thing I want to talk about Russ about. All the shit people talked about him being, not a great teammate or awkward and, people don't like him in the locker rooms. I think that might be bullshit. I think that a lot of that smoke you got out of Denver was just their reasoning to being able to tell the fan base, look, we dumped this guy for a rookie. But realistically, I don't see that in Russ at all. Jerry, he's on the sideline helping Fields as much as he can. Yeah. When Calvin Austin scores that punt return, who is the one guy you see sprint from the sidelines to celebrate with them in the end zone?
Yeah, Russ.
I don't think he's as bad of a teammate as they try and make him out to be.
Is this too? I don't think so. I don't think so either. And the thing is, this is like, how do people hate on a guy like that? You know what I mean? Who seems to be, he does all the right things, he's never in trouble. Right. He's like a family guy. The way he talks about the Steelers and the way he posts about them and the team, everything comes back to the team. It's not him. He 1 week in, he was the world, all of us, even us included, like bashing Van Jefferson,
Right.
and he's like, he's gonna get it right. We're gonna figure some things out. Like, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be good. We're learning together, and it's like he just boosts everybody
he was
up.
building George Pickens up when everybody was burying on George Pickens. He's like, George is a competitor. This is, George just wants to be involved. And honestly, Jerry, even when Calvin Austin scores that touchdown, George Pickens is in the end zone celebrating like a madman. So George's attitude has improved crazy.
Yeah, no, it has, and I think that's a reflection on him actually getting the ball.
Right? Yeah, no, that's so we said maybe he's just a guy that needs the ball. It's obvious. George will be happy if George is getting the ball, and Russ is getting him the ball. I mean, he makes the offense look like an NFL offense. We've said it. You can't say it enough. He makes them look like a legitimate offense, a contender. They're running a real offense now. The run game is complementing the passing game. There are so many things that Russ does that I think go unnoticed, but he is executing exactly what Arthur Smith is asking him to execute. And we talked to Art on the sidelines before the game. He's high on the offense.
Oh yes, and I'll tell you what, from what we've seen, and I think it was another 400-yard offense game.
Yes, it was. Russell Wilson has 2 in his first 2 starts. Ben had none in his last 16 starts. I think the Steelers had 4 total in 40 starts.
Yeah, I mean, Arthur Smith is, and listen, we're fans, and obviously we want to see passing touchdowns and a bunch of points and whatnot. He is doing an excellent job. He really is. There is no way we can sit here and complain about this guy. Listen, there's going to be calls throughout the game where we get upset at and whatnot, but at the end of the day, there is no Steelers fan out there that should bash Arthur Smith. At all, because he's just calling excellent games. And what did I say on that one drive late? I told them when it was that shot to George Pickens down the sideline, that excellent throw. It seemed like it was setting up, like Arthur Smith was setting up that play. And I was like, to Kevin, they're going to take a shot. They got to take a shot. I feel like they're going to take a shot here. Now, prior years, Matt Canada is running the ball or running fucking 2-yard fucking curl and out routes and whatnot.
Sitting on the lead.
Exactly. He said, fuck that. I'm taking my shot here. Took a shot, paid off. And, dude, he's just calling an excellent game. And what a humble guy, too, as well. Great guy. Fans of the show, which we found out, which
was
awesome.
incredible. Guys, he looks at us. He's like, you guys are absolutely killing it. Keep doing your thing. You guys are killing it. We love to see it. So to hear that from the Steelers offensive coordinator, I look at Jerry. I'm like, what the fuck is happening, man?
Yeah, I mean, just from Nick Herbig, we're busting balls with him, and TJ and Pat and Keanu Benton came over. It's like, dude, like at the end of the day, it's like I was coming back on the plane. I'm like, that was like an incredible experience.
It was wild.
Like, that was awesome. Yeah. Really cool. Pat looking at the sign, and he's like, this is crazy.
Shakes his head for the Jerry's has this Sussy for Russy sign. Pat shaking his head, laughing at us. Like, it's just, we do the show and we don't know how many people see it. Obviously, the clips on Instagram explode, Twitter. The show is doing very well. So we know there are people seeing it, but we don't know exactly who that is. And so when you hear them talk to us, like TJ comes over, daps up Jerry. He's like, what's up, Kev? For me in that moment, Jerry's hung out with them. They've played golf. Like, that's, a little bit more normal. For me, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Jerry, he said, what's up, Kev? Like, we got the Steelers media team had a video of the interaction, which they sent to us, which was phenomenal. Shout out Emil, great dude who works for the Steelers media team. But all in all, the experience was fucking phenomenal to have that. But it's more so the product on the field is also what makes it so exciting. Because first half, no sacks, Jerry. The defense, I was worried a little bit. And to be honest with you, there are still some things left to be desired as far as the defense is concerned from a run stopping standpoint. I thought they gave up some runs, especially the long run touchdown. I have a few concerns about that, things that hopefully are going to get buttoned up here through the second half. But it was the field goals back and forth, starting the game. The Giants are hanging in there. And I tweeted, I'm like, we don't have any sacks in the first half because Daniel Jones is just dropping back and immediately getting rid of the ball. Highsmith, Jerry, I think he had, it was a career high. You said 7 pressures or 9 pressures.
Yeah, 9. Tied TJ Watt.
So that's fucking, we're getting right there. We're right there. I'm like, they're going to get there in the second half.
Dude, yeah, and this is the thing, like, with this deal, like, even on these plays that don't result in sacks, it is forcing these quarterbacks like Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers, who we played last week, they have no choice but to get the ball out within 2 seconds, because if they don't, they're getting sacked. Teams are going to start to realize that, and what you can do as a defense is realize that's happening and fucking get up in the box and press. You know what I mean? So it's going to take even longer for that play to develop, and by the time another quarterback decides to, hey, I'm going to hold on to the ball, he's going to have to get sacked or escape the pocket, either or. And if TJ gets his hands on you or Alex Highsmith, you're probably going down.
And so you make a great point there. So if the Steelers go into the second half knowing, look, teams are going to get rid of the ball in under 2 seconds, and Lamar's another guy who does like to get rid of the ball fast when he is throwing the ball. So if you jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage, it fucks up the route. TJ and Highsmith get home. That's what Jerry is explaining. But the nice thing is you're going to get man press guys back. Corey Trice coming back.
Yes.
You're going to get Cam Sutton now. Cam Sutton is back. And no disrespect to Beanie Bishop, Jerry, at all. Another interception. 3 in 2 weeks for that guy. I'm going to give him all the flowers he deserves, because that guy had a really rough run of games, and to start doing what he's doing now, love that. But I think Cam Sutton slides right back in there, in my opinion. You might still see.
He comes right back?
Agreed. I think he comes right back in, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't heard anything about him practicing or anything.
Yeah, he is, Jerry, 2 years ago, he was a great cornerback for us. A great cornerback.
Yeah.
And that was on the outside, where it has been known Cam Sutton prefers to play inside the slot. He said he's more comfortable with that role. So you bring him in. Even if Beanie Bishop still plays in there, you still have that rotation. Eventually Cam Sutton is going to get in there for this long haul on the backside. I don't know, man. I really do think that, especially the way that the offense is trending, though they didn't score the touchdowns in the first half, Jerry, they still scored 26. You alluded to it. They easily should have had 30, could have pushed 40 if we're being honest about it. That's 3 weeks in a row the Steelers offense is starting to really click. Again, inferior defenses, inferior opponents. I agree with you, but you can't take away the fact that they're at least getting it done against inferior opponents. I'm excited as fuck about the second half.
These are games we'd lose in the past.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The tides are turning. Listen, and there is, I think it's should be out in the open now. This is Russ's job the rest of the
100%.
year.
Yeah.
I think it is. I don't think there's I don't think they need to even come out and say it. But it is. He's not losing this job. I think there's going to be some bumps. I really do. I don't think we're going to, go win 14 games or anything like that, But I think there'll be some bumps, but I really liked it. This is the most fun group we've had.
Agreed.
In a number of years. And they're getting pieces back. Frazier's coming back. You have Herbig coming back. That's big. Cordell Patterson is pretty much back. Cam Sutton is coming back now. So now you're getting even more depth at all these positions. Sky is the limit.
I expect all of those guys to be back after the bye week against the Commanders, which is going to be a test right out of the gates for us, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great test right out of the gates. But, getting Frazier back, I think, is going to be big. But we have to talk about how bad Broderick Jones is.
Yeah, man. He is struggling. He really is. Bad too. He's just not a right tackle. It's just what it is. Not a right tackle.
Jerry, it's not even okay. Yes, maybe his blocking sucks, and his blocking absolutely sucks. And I don't want to shit on this guy, because my biggest thing is I don't really want to throw him 100% under the bus or say this guy is a bust right now, because I don't know what he can do at the left tackle position. The only game he played at left tackle was against the Ravens last year when Dan Moore was dinged. You had Broderick Jones play left tackle, and he played great. Gave up no pressures. His run blocking looked great. His pass blocking was phenomenal. So for me, it's like, damn, is it really that big of a difference? Now, I don't know shit about playing football as far as the offensive line is concerned, so it's hard for me to talk, negatively about that. But as a right tackle, it's that he sucks in pass blocking. I mean, his pass blocking is horrendous.
Yeah, it's not good.
His run blocking, oftentimes, he's not even getting to the man to make the block. But it's the penalties. It's the drive-killing penalties out of Broderick Jones, man. This is every week now. It feels like he's taking points off the board for George Pickens.
I think this is like 4 or 5 touchdowns that should have happened, but Broderick Jones had a holding penalty or a face mask or something like that.
Hands to the face. Like, it's simple shit like that. There's no need for it. Get your fucking hands off the face mask. As soon as it gets there, pull it down. That's like, what? I don't know what could possibly be going through your mind whenever your hand is jamming the guy's face mask and you just play through it. And then they throw the flag. We're celebrating because we think George scores right in front of us. And I'm like, there's a flag, fucking another flag. And you see Broderick throwing his hands in the air. But, buddy, your hands are all through the guy's face mask. What do you want them to call here? So for me, me, if he just cleans up the penalties, being a shitty blocker is one thing, but when you're a shitty blocker and you're fucking taking a ton of drive killing penalties, I mean, that he's starting to become a liability. Like, that's how bad he's been. He's starting to become a liability.
Yeah, and now the Steelers are in that weird spot, like we talked about. I mean, Dan Moore's playing good, so you're not going to move Broderick Jones to left tackle. You're not. And also, Fautanu, is there a chance he comes back for playoffs?
No, I think he's done for the year.
Done, right? Finished?
Yeah.
He's finished, yeah. So, I mean, dude, overall, they played excellent. They really did. I'm happy. I'm super fucking excited, super grateful. Also, let's talk about, I know the big chunks on the ground, they were gashing us a little bit, but you watch Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts fly to the ball, man. They are so fun to watch in person. Peyton Wilson, he gets his hands on you, you're going down. Patrick Queen, sideline to sideline speed. He's starting to come on. And Landon Roberts has been really damn good. He made a couple big plays there in that game. So, dude, they're deep everywhere. They really are. There's not a position besides receiver that they are not deep.
Minka, Jerry, is another guy. You know, we've said we would like to see more splash plays out of Minka. I thought Minka had a pretty damn good game, especially that one ball. They throw it to the left sideline, you know, and we're like, Minka has to make a play. Mink bangs perfectly times, hitting the receiver and the ball at the same time. Ball shoots up in the air. You know, Minka, you know, looking back on it, he's making some more plays than it looks like he might be making because they're not splash plays. We do need to start to get some splash plays out of him, and I think it's just a rut, and eventually you will see that in the second half. But the other part is teams have to actually throw to him for him to be making splash plays too.
True.
So
same with Joey Porter.
Right. You want these guys to, you know, come away with pass breakups and takeaways and fumbles and, you know, interceptions. But if the ball's not getting there, you can't expect them to make fucking wine out of water. Now, one guy that makes wine out of water regularly, TJ Watt, Jerry. TJ Watt. It's every time people want to say, "Oh, TJ's fallen off. He's not going to do anything." And this right tackle for the Giants says, "I want him one-on-one." Makes a big fuss about it all week. Says he wants TJ on an island one-on-one. And in the first half, yeah, maybe because Daniel Jones is getting rid of the ball fast. But in the second half, TJ Watt beat the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, I mean that was just a fucking domination. And listen, line offensive right tackles, they could say whatever they want. Yeah, I want to be one-on-one. They don't want to be one-on-one with a guy like that. They don't. And then listen, TJ, 3 weeks, you know, going back 3 weeks before that game, he was struggling getting sacks, but he was still making plays, forcing fumbles, leads the league in forced fumbles with I think 4 or 5 of them. He's top 10 in sacks. He's at 6.5 now. As the weeks go on, he's going to rise up. You've seen what they did also. They're starting to move him around more. They're starting to give offenses different looks, you know what I mean, which I love that. And when you have those two guys, Highsmith and TJ, playing like that, they will destroy any game.
And you're going to get Herbig back. Like, you're going to get Herbig back. So there's no breaks for tackles. Those guys get wind. Herbig is going to be right in there fucking humming around. And as much as he thinks you have tiny feet, Jerry, size 4 children's feet, he's going to...
Yeah, that was tough.
He looks down at Jerry's feet on the sideline before the game, and he's like, Jerry, what size shoes are those? 4, 4.5? He's like, I'll get you for Christmas this year.
Terrible.
But no, I mean, you're going to get that guy back. And to get him back, man, as far as that rotation is concerned, the pass rush is lethal. But for that tackle then came out yesterday and he said, I mean, I'm not going to hype up TJ too much. He's like, what do you want me to do? The first half, he had no impact. He's like, he made a couple of plays late, but for the most part, I held my own. Buddy, he should have had 3 sacks. He had the strip sack. On back-to-back plays, he destroys the drive, creates the strip sack, gets the fumble himself, and pretty much wins the game, ends the game in the second half for the Steelers. I mean, I might give a little respect. First half, you might have held him out of there, but it doesn't matter. It's a 60-minute football game. In the last 30 minutes, he beat the absolute piss out of you. I'd probably give a little respect where it's owed here.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. I mean, we sat there and watched that whole game. We were pretty much essentially on the field. You watch TJ Watt go against this guy, and he's blowing him back every
time.
I mean, every play he's blowing him back. And then Daniel Jones is getting the ball out so quick. There's not much you can do.
Yeah, so for how close we were, Jerry, that George Pickens play, initially, we think George Pickens gets his feet down. It looked like, how does George Pickens not get his feet down? And Jerry's getting the replays like, nah, they're saying he didn't get his feet down, didn't get his feet down. You're so close to the field right there. It almost feels like you want to jump over and bitch right at the officials. I mean, you're 10 feet away from these guys. And so I tweeted, I'm like, I've never sat front row. I've never been so close to have the ability that I want to jump this rail right here and just run onto the field and let the officials hear it. I tweet that jokingly, kind of, mostly. If they got fucked at the end of the game, who knows what my brain might have done. But there's an NFL rep that comes around, in the third quarter, or maybe, late in the third quarter, he comes around, he's like, hey, just want to say, jumping over this rail and running onto the field, that's not a very good idea. He's like, we see your tweets. He says it goes to show how much we're paying attention when people say that kind of stuff. So I say to him, are you paying attention to how bad the officiating problem is? Are you guys trying to fix that? And he smiles and walks away, but he tells us he's from New York. So for them to see that tweet is fucking hysterical. It goes to show the reach that you have.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty insane. Social media is wild, dude, and the amount of reach you can have. And I was shocked when I was like, because I didn't understand what was going on. And you were like, Jerry, he's just said he's from New York, like, for like officiating. I was like, what? How did they see
He's
that?
wearing a suit, and he's like, that's not a very good idea. He's like, don't jump on that field. And he points at security. He's like, keep an eye on this guy. So, I mean, he was joking mostly, but it's fucking hilarious that they saw that tweet within probably half hour of me tweeting it. They're sending somebody over to take a look. That I thought was pretty hysterical. All in all, though, it was a phenomenal day. Between the tailgate, the game, the experience that we had with the sideline passes, it was a fucking 10 out of 10. Maybe one of the best days of my entire life. I know that's crazy to sound, but it was a complete fucking blast. It ended with me and Jerry at the casino, cleaning out the Rivers Casino, 4 a.m. I mean, we're 6-2, Jerry. We are 6-2. You want to run through the schedule, the second half, and do another predictions, the second half of the schedule, and see kind of where we might be on that end?
I'll go first.
So we start with Steelers at Commanders.
I think they win that game.
I think they win that game as well. So we would both give them a win there. Then we come home. Ravens come to town.
Okay. I think we're going to win that game.
I don't think we're going to lose to the Ravens at home. So I would say yes to that one. Then 4 days later, Thursday Night Football in Cleveland, where let's give the Browns a little respect. We shit on them a lot. They got it done for us. They got it done. They beat the Ravens. The Steelers have a 1-game lead over the Ravens through 8 games. That is fucking huge for us to beat the Giants and also the Ravens to hiccup on that. Browns might be a little bit better under Jameis Winston.
Yes, I think we're going to lose that game. Short rest off of probably an emotional high energy atmosphere will be buzzing in Pittsburgh the prior week against the Ravens. I think we can lay an egg that game.
I'm going to say we win that game because 10 days later we're at Cincinnati, and I say we lose that game personally.
I think we're going to lose that game as well. So, I think I have us going back to back.
So
losses.
Jerry has us 2-2 so far. I have us at 3-1. Then we come home, and the Browns are coming to town then.
I think we beat them.
I think we sweep the Browns personally. I think, yes, while Jameis Winston did beat the Ravens, I think the Ravens offense is very good, yes. However, their defense is very, very sketchy. I don't know that their defense is nearly as good as people want to make it out to be. I thought there were plenty of plays in that game. Jameis Winston threw balls that should have been intercepted, especially the Kyle Hamilton one late in the game. That's a fucking prayer right in his hands, drops the ball. So while the Browns did beat the Ravens, I think Jameis Winston still throws a lot of balls where you're like, God damn, I don't know that that's a good ball. That's going to cost them. So I think we sweep them. I think we win that game. Then we go to Philadelphia.
I think it's a win.
I'm taking that as an L. Philly is a hard fucking place to play, man. I've been there. I've seen the Steelers play there. We never play good in Philadelphia for the most part. I'm going to take that one as an L personally. Then we go on the road 6 days later, another short fucking week. 6 days later, we're playing against the Ravens.
I think we lose that game.
I agree. I am going to say that's an L there. So I have us as 3 L's so far. You have us at 4. So, no, you have us at 3 as well. We both have 3 losses. So then we come home Christmas Day, another 4 days later. You're taking the Chiefs Christmas Day.
I think we're going to win that game. I had this game marked in the beginning of the year. I think the Steelers finally get it done against the Chiefs. I think they're going to win this game, and I think that's their statement to be like, hey, we're real. We are real. You don't want to see us, especially at home in the playoffs. I think they win that game.
One thing that's nice about that game, it's going to be at home. It is short. It's going to be a short game. It's also going to be short for the Chiefs, though, and the Chiefs have to do the traveling. Okay, so that's one benefit to us. Russ is familiar with the Chiefs. Okay,
Yes,
Russ has played in the division with the Chiefs for a few years. He has played the Chiefs. He's familiar with the Chiefs.
He's beating the Chiefs.
Exactly. He beat them last year. Before they bench him, he beats the Chiefs.
Yep.
So Russ has a familiarity there where I have some confidence that Russell Wilson can beat the Chiefs. I am going to say it is a win because I think the following week then you got the Bengals last game of the season. That could determine the AFC North in my opinion. Where are you at with that one?
I think we win that game.
I do too. I
have us at 5 losses.
So that gets
total for the year.
But we both have it at 12-5. That's where we get it at 12-5. The Steelers end up going 12-5. I think that is, while it seemed crazy initially with the production the offense is giving us, we're going to win more of these 50-50 games that teams weren't going to say that we were going to be able to beat them in early in the season. People didn't think we would beat some of these games that we won even in the first half. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
And so for the offense to be trending where it is, we're now averaging about 27 points per game the last 4 games, which is the number we need. We're only giving up 14.5 points per game, which is second in football. So the Steelers have a top 10 offense right now, as fucking insane as that sounds, and they have a top 5 defense. Top 10 offense, top 5 defense going into the second half of the season. You couldn't position them to be in a better place.
No, you couldn't. And the thing is this, they, in prior years, they would start out slow running the ball and whatnot. They have ran the ball excellent. They really have. And now you have a team where, hey, in prior years, you want to beat the Steelers, you got to stop the run because they can't pass the ball. Now it's like, what are you going to do? Because they can beat you both ways now.
That's a big thing. That's an incredible point because you can't just take away the run game anymore because Russ is going to be able to beat you if you load 8 men in the box. That was where, when they're loading 8 men in the box against Fields, the run game could do nothing because, Fields, let's be honest, probably wasn't making checks at the line, whether he wasn't allowed or whether he couldn't see it or wasn't making the adjustments. He just wasn't making checks at the line. You're going to have Russ have the ability to make checks at the line, which is going to create mismatches. So you're going to get one-on-one receivers then over the top. You're going to get hot routes that he's going to find. Massive. That makes teams say, fuck, we can't load the box. So then the run game is going to have more success. As good as the run game has been the first 8 weeks of the season, you're now probably going to see the run game have the ability to improve even more the last 9 games simply because now the threat of the passing game is going to open up those lanes.
Yes, 100%.
Real quick, let's run down the Ravens schedule because in my opinion, I think that is the only team that in the AFC North the Steelers have to worry about. I think the Bengals are mostly dead, pretty much fucking dead now, especially after another loss. Browns are out of it. It's going to be the Ravens. The Ravens Sunday are home against the Broncos.
Okay, yeah, they could win that game.
They should win that game. Although the Broncos defense is good and the Broncos are playing with this, revived optimism themselves, Ravens are going to win that game. Then they're home 4 days later, Thursday Night Football, short week, but the Bengals are coming to town.
I hope the Bengals win that game. We got to root for the Bengals.
That's one of those ones you would hope that if you look at the schedule realistically, you got to hope that the Bengals beat them. Then they come to Pittsburgh. Okay, so we got to handle our fucking business there.
Yes.
Ideally, Pittsburgh could be 2 games up if they beat the Ravens in, 2 weeks after the bye.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Exactly.
That is big for us. Then they go on the road then against the Chargers. So they're on the road against the Chargers. Should win that game. Then they're home against the Eagles, December 1st.
Tough
That's
game.
another
Tough
one of
game
those ones that you're going to hope that if you look at the schedule, that's one of the ones that they give up. Then they go on the road against the Giants. That's a win. And then they are home for us again. You know what I mean? So that's another tough game. And then they go on the road to the Texans.
Another tough game. I mean, they got a tough schedule as well.
No layups for the most part through there. Maybe the Giants is a layup. The Broncos, you would say, is a layup. But I would have said that the Browns were a layup for them Sunday, and they lost the game. So it's any given Sunday. You know my favorite thing when people say, oh, who have the Steelers played? Who have the Steelers beat? Okay, great. You can say that their schedule hasn't been that difficult the first 8 weeks. However, I've seen more teams that you would classify as better football teams have more any given Sunday losses than the Steelers have had through 8 weeks. The Ravens being one of those fucking teams.
Yeah, 100%.
So you could say the Steelers, who have they played, but they're also beating those teams as well. So give a little credit and respect where it's due. They're not losing to those teams. So I mean, you got to at least fucking be honest when you say that.
I mean, Kev, they have a chance to get a 2 seed. They really
That's what
do.
they should be playing for. That's what they should be playing for, Jerry.
Because they're probably not going to get the 1 seed. It'll probably be the Chiefs. Honestly, it will probably be the Chiefs. But they have a chance at that 2 seed, dude. I would love, dude. I'd take a 3 seed. I really would. In a heartbeat, 3 or 4 seed, I will. But imagine us with a 2 seed, dude.
First 2 games, if they make it through the first 2 weeks, the first 2 games are going to be at Heinz Field. And honestly, Jerry, let's tip the cap to the fucking fan base at Heinz Field.
So loud.
For years, I have been very hard on the Steelers fans at home games, because I'm like, these old people need to sell their tickets off to people that actually want to fucking be there. There's too many fans from the 70s that are a little longer in the tooth that don't bring the energy anymore. On first down, it was loud as shit on Monday night. On second down, it was loud. Third down was deafening. Jerry and I, we can't even hear the whistles. Like, we genuinely could not hear the fucking whistles. We're like, what are they doing? Apparently, there was a flag for a delay of game or a false start. We can't even hear it. That is how loud it was several times. I mean, I've been to every big Steelers game for the last 10 years. I've been to most of the road games. I would say 75% of the road games every season. The Steelers, for a while, I was saying, would rank between 12 and 15 as far as, home field advantage is concerned. I mean, if they continue to give us what they've given us the last couple of games at home, Heinz Field in the playoffs is going to be a very difficult place to play, in my opinion.
100%. And let's tip the cap too. I mean, defensively, especially the second half, teams can't do a fucking thing. And I got a little stat for you. How many points through 8 weeks, right, do you think the Steelers have given up in the third quarter?
I'm going to say less than 10.
0.
They haven't given up a point in the third quarter all season?
Not 1 point in the third quarter all season long. That goes to tell you they see what's going on. At halftime, they make the adjustments and come out. Second half, you ain't going to do a fucking thing against us on offense.
That's a big thing. That's what I was saying to you, after the first half. I'm like, yeah, they're moving the ball on us, but we are a second half defense. We've been a second half defense all season. And that's one of those things. Everybody in the comments is always like, give Tomlin his flowers, give Tomlin his flowers. Whether it's Mike Tomlin or it's Terrell Austin, they are making the correct adjustments, because the second half, the defense does clamp down. And they've done it for weeks now. I didn't know they were giving up 0 points in the third, which is an insane stat.
Nothing. I read that stat today. I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, 0? Is that true? Crazy.
I mean, that's coaching. You got to give that's credit to coaching. So, much as we beat them down, you got to build on Bob when they get it right. And they're getting it right now, man. Things are clicking on both sides. You can see the improvement. That's a big thing for me. The first half of the season is about figuring out what you have and figuring out how to use it properly, putting guys in the right positions to find success. And now you're starting to see they're rounding out both on the offensive side, the defensive side. That's a big thing. Arrow is trending very high for us the second half, Jerry. It's going to be a dogfight, but I really like our dog in this fight.
Yeah, so do I. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. We're going to drop some games, but hey, listen, I'm excited.
Fucking A, man. Jerry, we're not going to do another episode this week because it's the bye week. So this was the one recap. We will be back again.
If we get a receiver or a trade thing, we'll do something. But other than that, we'll take the rest of this week off, get back to regularly scheduled programming next week.
So we will see you guys here. This episode will drop tomorrow. If we can get it out tonight, we will try and get it out tonight. It's early in the day, so we might be able to get it out this evening. If not, we'll get it out Thursday morning to you guys by the time you hear this. We appreciate you guys. All the people that came to the terrible tailgate, Jerry, Don, to see you. I mean, Jerry had a line. Jerry had a line of people waiting to meet him. We took so many photos with you guys. We appreciate the shit out of you. Sometimes I tell Jerry, and I don't know if he believes me, but now finally when he comes and he hears how many people are excited about what we're doing on the show, I think he starts to realize, the show is really starting to become something, Jerry.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show. People love it. I mean, you had a kid there from Hawaii that traveled because we both were going to be there. He's like, dude, I love the show. I'm like, oh, Awesome. Hell yeah. Where are you from? He's like, Hawaii. I'm like, Hawaii? You came all the way over here from Hawaii? It's fucking crazy. Another kid from Oregon who came here just because we were there, you know?
Canada, people from Canada always coming down, hyping it up. We appreciate you guys. It means, honestly, this show without you would be nothing. And we do say it, but like it genuinely means a ton to us. We sat at a table and played blackjack with two guys that were big fans. I mean, the one guy, he was hammered, way overserved. He was trashed. I mean, just beating Jerry's eardrums to death. But hey, we appreciate it. It means the world to us. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show. Like, comment, subscribe, share it where you find it. We are closing in on 20,000 subs. As soon as we get there, you guys will get $2,000. We appreciate you. We'll see you here next week. Later, Jer.
Later.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.